Mic check. 1, 2.
Tom, use your word.
Hey, you.
That's Original Freedom.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Original Freedom Podcast. We are currently still on location here in SoCal, living it up. Beautiful sunset, good day of surf today, some good treatment, some good therapy, good food, and now some time with some amazing friends. Thanks for tuning in. I'll tell you up front what we're going to talk about today is a lot of different things, which is normal for this, because the goal here is to just stay positive and in alignment with things that allow people to have thoughts around what it is to have greater power in their life through personal freedom. And we access that through that personal vulnerability, through living an authentic life and being true to who we are, which is super difficult. And I preface the show today with that because who I want to introduce to you is a buddy of mine, Root, who I met through a series of really cool events. And luckily, I say yes a lot in life. And by saying yes, once again, I'm sitting here with a guy who has a profound ability to bring about positive effect in people's lives by using music in a therapeutic manner to access greater authenticity in themselves, and drop that piece of self-judgment and doubt, to use frequency, to use the ability to harmonize, to bring people together. And when I met him, literally I figured all that out within an hour of meeting him, and we'll get to that story in a minute. But that's part of why we're here. Is I want to introduce the not the world, because the guy goes on tour, he's out there, the world knows who he is, but I want to introduce our viewers and listeners to a guy that really has a great gift and talent. Thanks for being here today, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Aloha.
That's it. And he's got this. He is from Hawaii.
Yeah, well, I'm like one of those transplants.
He's a transplant. Trust me, he's more Hawaiian than anything else. So real quick backstory, because stories are a great thing, and I'll give you my side. Most of you out there have watched or heard enough about me. I won't give you anything about me yet. I was taking a trip to Iceland to take my daughter to Iceland for her graduation trip this summer, and we missed a flight. And literally, back to everything happens for a reason, I even told her, I was like, not a big deal, like, we're not supposed to be there for another day, we'll figure it out. And I said, I have a friend who's got a flat in Soho that I could hit up, and maybe we could just hang out in Manhattan for a day, because we had a 24-hour push. And so I texted my buddy, and he said, well, you could stay at the place, but let me check with a friend of mine who's staying there. Maybe he'll be willing to sleep on the couch. And so I get a text back, say, hey, I'll sleep on the couch. You guys are good to go. So my daughter and I get into Soho at like midnight, and this guy is sitting there. And so I met Root, and within 2 hours, his guitar was out. He was sharing his music with me, and then he began to share how he's using music as therapy to help open people up, to help give people greater hope, to help literally change and shift the energetic level in a room, to change and shift the energetic level, all of this in a positive manner, right, in someone's life in under 3 minutes. And so that's something else I want to share with you today. You'll get to feel, not in person, but as close as you can get to him, to understand what it is to feel like that. And so I immediately knew, it's like, one, this is somebody I want to spend time with, and someone I want to get to know more about, because he's got a unique gift. He's using it in a unique way, in very non-traditional environments, even corporate type cultures, and breaking down these walls around belief systems that this doesn't equal that, or you can't do this here or there, right? Which is pretty much fucking in alignment with how we roll. So all that being said, there's going to be a little song, there'll be some music, and no doubt a really cool story about an individual who's spent his life following and chasing his passion, and as a byproduct of it, has a lot of positive impact in the world. So with that, I'm going to hand the mic to you, Root, and if you just kick it off with letting us get to know your story first.
My relationship with music has been, all my life, except for the first couple of years, I couldn't hear when I was born. And, I think my parents started noticing around like a year and a half, like that I wasn't responding normally, you know. And they did an operation on my ears, and the doctor told my mom, you know, it's gonna come back like instantly. And my first memory that I have now, you know, as we grow and we progress in life, our memories kind of get like we paint, like, you know, we paint over, like, is this exactly what happened? But I was standing eye level to a bathtub faucet, and she turned it, and the first thing I heard was the metal, you know, of this old bathtub faucet, and then this rush of water coming out, and equally like terrifying and incredible, and just like, wow, what is happening? And then you know, I scream, and I hear my own scream, and
wow,
my mom's not. I was almost 2, and my mom starts freaking out, and then I hear her. And it was pretty intense, you know. And since then, Water and Women have really done those amazing, incredible moments, and also terrorizing with like surfing and.
Because at some point there was wine. There was Water, Women, wine.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it came from a music family, but I was a handful when I was a kid, so I never really fit in with the modes of teaching kids how to play music. Like, I got kicked out of things because I was too too rambunctious and too resistant. And then, you know, I think it was about 14. My dad, for a birthday, got me a electric guitar. And that was just like, I have a photograph of the moment when I received that guitar, you know, and you just see me, this amazement. And I started to learn how to play. I learned from a guy named Tom, who was on the Sunset Strip in this like metal band. So I pretty much learned through his filter. You know, I think the first song I learned was Crazy Train by Ozzy.
Of course.
And yeah, and so he was awesome. He just taught me how to like play songs. He wasn't in the business of teaching you how to express yourself, you know. He was in the business of like, okay, what do you want to learn this week, kid? All right, Sweet Child of Mine. Okay, it goes like this. Yeah.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Right. And growing up in LA, by the time I was in my teens, a lot of my friends were really gifted, and they were going to schools for music. And I got to this point where I really didn't have an identity, and I wasn't a really proficient technical player. So I would try to fit in with them, but they were at a much higher level of progression than I was. So I had a couple of experiences where I got squashed, you know. Like, I thought I was going to be great. I thought I was going to fit in with this band, and I just really didn't. And they were, you know, people, they don't know how they're going to affect you sometimes when they're, you know, saying stuff. And I got shut down to this place where I didn't want to play with anybody anymore, and I would just, you know, sit and play by myself. And eventually I remember like being at a party and everybody's drinking, and I had a guitar and I played like some Pearl Jam song, you know, and I really let go with my voice, and people were like, oh, that's cool, you know. So I was like, oh, yeah, neat. You know, you can get girls to talk to you, or free beer or whatever. And I think the first time I realized how powerful music could be in the moment, as far as changing the trajectory of what's happening or altering the frequency or the vibe, was on the North Shore of Oahu. I was staying in a hostel for some reason. I was like in between places, and there was a
in between things.
Yeah, it's a little in between.
You know, one of those times.
And you know, it was the winter season, big waves, and a lot of the people staying in the hostel were big wave surfers, and that comes with a whole different vibe, because there's some very, you know, primitive, you got to be a bit primitive to charge into those. Yeah, right. And I was sitting there strumming my guitar, and I heard a commotion coming from the common space, and I came out, and there was a guy on top of another guy pulling back to smash his face, because they were arguing about something. And I had the guitar, and I saw them, and in that moment I strummed the chord and started singing one of my songs. You know, it goes like, I don't want to work today, maybe I could. And he stopped and he had his hand around the guy's neck, and it was the weirdest thing because they're both looking at me.
Nice.
You know, and eventually that grip around his neck released and his fist unclenched, and he was still sitting on top of the guy, but there was like a vibe of like fight, 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 and it turned into this like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
And by the end, they didn't pound each other.
Right.
And I walked away from that going like, wow, like that, I just stopped violence with a very non-violent thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to touch anyone. I didn't have to, you know, and it was so instinctual. It just happened so quickly. And I think that's the first time that light went on. That the power of immediate music, what it can do to people in all sorts of situations. Like we all have like moments when we're feeling something and we put on a song, or we hear something, you know, the bird singing or whatever it is, and it changes our experience. There was this one song that I wrote, and I thought it was the best song, man. I was like this slow kind of ballad song, and I put so much of my own experience into this song that the first time I played it for someone, they're like, oh yeah, that's all right. I was like, no, wait a second. Like this is like, this song's really good. And I went back and I edited out a lot of my own experience and kept the stuff that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
And the next time I played it, it was like, it was at a house party. And I remember there was a beautiful woman like in the hallway, and I was like, hey, can I play you a song? She was kind of indifferent, like, yeah, whatever. And I played her the song, and she just looked at me, and she grabbed me, and we just started making out like that. And I was like, whoa, okay, now it works.
Now the song is good.
And thankful for her, because that really taught me that if I can make it all our song, not so much about my experience, but of collective experience, then that has the power to really activate people.
Our song.
Yeah, our song, no matter what that is. And I think that's like a lot of the greatest songs that we relate to. We can really relate because it's enough left out that we can make it ours. And so, the teachers in Hawaii that taught me how to sing and find my own voice, they were vital in encouraging me to not sound like somebody else,
right? To
belt it out, to sing louder around the fire because we can't hear you and something's inside of you. I've been lucky to have these the teachers along the way that's like, there's something inside you and help pull it out. When you're younger, we're not typically born teachers. Some of us are. I definitely was not, so as these teachers helped me unearth these gifts inside of me, as time has gone on, it's gotten to the point now where I'm taking that mantle, and now I help unearth things out of people.
Nice.
And I think where that shift really occurred was a thing called Burning Man, which
this little thing called
it's a little
Burning Man.
thing, yeah,
yeah.
Which I used to go to years ago, and then I ended up returning in 2014. And I was just wandering around with this ukulele, just like strumming, playing my stuff. And a woman came up to me and she said, I can't believe Roothub is playing right here in front of me. To which I replied, I can't believe you know who I am. I've tried to hide for all these years. And she ended up being a very gifted yogi, and she's in the wellness world. And her book partner that she made the book with ended up living on the North Shore, and she suggested that we meet. And I was like, what for? She's like, I just think it'd be a really good relationship, and all these connectors. I didn't used to connect people, and now I'm learning the joy of connecting,
Right.
to see, oh, well, that could go, you guys could complement each other, which she saw in me. And I ended up accompanying her yoga class every Thursday at the Sunset Beach Rec Center on the North Shore of Oahu, to which was a brand new thing for me because I have never been technically like that proficient, but I had to explore a lot more as I was playing with the yoga class because it's not like playing a show. And then I started learning the value of that. Yeah, this isn't a show. This is actually here and now. It's not some prefabricated thing.
Yeah.
I started mirroring her teachings through immediate music. So as that grew, that yogi that I played with, she asked me to join her in Europe for some retreats. Would you like to come to, a chateau in France? Like,
no, that sounds terrible.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
She said, it's going to be about 15 of us, and there's going to be really good food and really good wine and very good connection. And I said, yeah, sure, that sounds beautiful. I'd never been to Europe. And she said, okay, great, but wait, I don't want you to just come there and sing with yoga. I want you to, there's something inside of you, and I don't know how it's going to present itself, but I want you to develop a class. And that was very foreign concept to me. A class, like, what am I going to teach people? Like, how to learn how to play Crazy Train, or like how to like play to bars and like get people, like, work a crowd. And none of that had anything to do with what actually came out of me. I started thinking about all of the times in my life, like that time of that person not punching that other guy, times in Kauai where I would sing about something and then it would literally happen within hours. And I started researching creation stories and myths throughout all our culture, and it turns out there's a wealth of all throughout history of stories about things coming into being because of sound. So I developed a workshop about that and about connecting people with that and allowing them to remember that they do have their own voice, like a fingerprint. Their voice is their unique. Exact, right. Their exact.
That's been proven.
Yeah, exactly. And as we're learning about how frequencies affect things, putting that into play with people in a setting where they are taking this, I didn't know it when we first started, but they're taking these huge leaps of faith and being very courageous about expressing themselves with song, and especially with like, to feel safe in that environment is not an easy thing for most people. But I was halfway through the workshop and I looked over at the yogi who had invited me to this, and she was like, "What?
This is so many people singing.
What is happening right now?" And I looked back like, I don't know. This is incredible. And at that time, I didn't know, as I researched more, like stuff like when we sing together in groups, endorphins and oxytocin start releasing. Because this programmed into us. We've been doing it for centuries. But, in the, 18th, 17th, 18th, at least in Western culture, that started getting put into hands of different classes,
people who could do it well,
right? And like then this hierarchy started of like this is better than that person, this is better than the person just singing their but the work songs that we've sang with and for each other has helped us get through some of the hardest times of human.
Oh dude, I used to sing whenever on long ruck marches. I've sung with dudes 100%.
Right? And so we're in this workshop and I see this one yogi who's there, and I can tell she is so resistant, and everybody else had been.
So just for context, folks, he made their song up, and he's trying to get them to sing it. So not everybody's going to watch, and you're being animated, and if they're just listening, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'd be in this circle, and the first thing I do some practices and some methods where it's basically getting people to be okay with being vulnerable around each other, and there's a lot of laughing during that time.
Sure.
And then we work into like the day song, which it's like the day song,
do it.
The song about the day we spent, the day song, the song about the day we spent. And we would just, I just get people to sing about what their day, like from my day to day. Went to sleep before the sunrise, close my eyes, wake up, couple hours sleep. Oh, wipe that dream from my head. Now I gotta get out of bed. Oh, the day song, you know, and
The day song.
So yeah. And
It's so awesome.
we get, you know, you do that and you do some more practices, and people start allowing themselves to remember that they can express themselves and that they do have their own signature. And by the end of it, we are in this place where we're all feeling kind of high from that. And I say, hey, what do we want our mantra to be about? Because we know there's old mantras and they're valuable for what they are. But let's think about what we call to with our mantra right here, the immediacy of
In our time.
This time that we're sharing together, the immediacy of that. Let's think about future us, you know, and what are we singing to future us? You know, like not like it's an island in the distance, but like what does it feel like to put your foot on the sand? Because you're there. And what does that smell like and feel like and sound like, and how does it feel in your body? Let's sing to that. And let's have that future us sing to us now. And I remember, you know, because it was a huge leap of faith for me too, because I'd never done this before.
Right.
And I said, so what do we want to sing about? And I have it recorded, and you can hear them sing like vision, feelings, and they're all saying it. And I got a vision, something's coming my way. And I was like, oh no, it's almost there. And then within like 30 seconds is, I got a feeling that something's coming my way. Oh, and my third eye vision, it's got something to say. And then they're all singing that. Like they start singing that over and over, and it's right now, and it's us. And then in the in between times, they start singing about what that feels like to be, you know, everything's yourself realized, and you don't have those hang-ups. And so they start singing to their future, and witnessing that and looking around that room as people did that and seeing, it was just incredible. And by the end, that's, you know, everybody's kind of timid at first. I love doing this work because people are like, at first there's a lot of this, like with their arms crossed over their chest, and they got a scowl, and they're just like, this does not sound like something I want to be a part of. To that end, when they're open and like their hands are up and their eyes are open and they're breathing deep. And so that has really become a light went on. I was doing it at a festival in Oahu, and there was a woman in that class that didn't really fit the demographic of, you know, fit yoga young. She was older, she was overweight, and I could just see the pain, you know. And through the course of our workshop, she really opened up, and it was great. There was this like really good looking chiseled man bun yoga guy, you know, next to her, and they were like really supportive of each other, and just witnessing that and all the other connection that happens within these moments. I was walking the next night I was heading to a dinner or a party or something at the resort. And she saw me and she grabbed me and she says, like, you know, this has changed my life. That's cool. I was going through the motions. And she like grabbed me and shook me. And she said, this is the first time in 3 months, the first day that I've woken up where I haven't thought about ending my life.
Boom.
And that was like a lightning bolt.
Yeah, you're walking your path, man.
It really made me realize how much bravery these people are stepping into, because I do it all the time. It's like second fiddle to me, but it really taught me to respect what was happening, the gift I had, how it affected people, and how it can change the world. Boom. And I'm so thankful for her, you know, for her being vulnerable to me. And so that was the real shift. That was about 2 years ago, and it's just been such an incredible, you know, wave ever since then of getting to make up these instant anthems, these, you know, pocket-sized mantras that people can take with them even after, because the way I record them and remix them, they can take them with them, and they can constantly recreate that. Because there's a thing that happens in our neural pathways with music and what we can attach to. It's like if you hear that song from when you were in deep depression and you were going through hard times, it can trigger, like, oh man,
physiologically, and biologically, yeah.
So to be in a place where I can, like, we were talking the other day about my mission statement, where if I can take the boot of stress off someone's neck with a song for 2 to 3 minutes, like unzipping that portal to the present is so impactful. I've just witnessed, like,
unzipping the portal to the present. That right there was like, that's what you do. And if you would allow me to, dude, I would be. Most people don't take kindly to being put on the spot, but I'm gonna throw you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm in the business of being put on the spot.
I want to let these folks hear and experience what it is you're talking about. And so I know that Nate's got a beautiful family and a beautiful new daughter, and I'm not sure what you're going to do with this, but I'd like to see you give Nate his song. So now that I've put you on the spot, if you could walk the folks listening through the process, and I want y'all to pay attention from how long he asks Nate questions to when he starts playing and singing this song.
Yeah, so I came up with this project called Instant Anthems because as I've started to transition into wellness and teaching, I have moved a little bit away from stage performances. And I talked with one of these festivals, and they said, what stage do you want to play on? Because we want your music music that you write. I said, you know what, I don't want a stage. I want to try something very different. I want to go through this 3-day event, and interact with people. And I want to ask them a couple of questions, and I want to write I want to pull their song out of them, and pull a little pocket-sized theme song, and just see how that affects the overall vibe, see how that affects the person. So what I'll ask you is what I ask people: 2 nouns and a verb.
I am about to fly home, so I'm going to go father, family, and flight. Fly home.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm traveling man, doing what I can to bring about the unity. Oh, but sometimes being a father, far from a daughter, it wears on me. Oh, I'll never leave you alone. I'll always fly home. I'll always fly home. You are a sailor, and there is an ocean that you're going to move on. And my devotion to help you when you need an anchor true. I'll never leave you alone, no matter how far you travel from home. Oh, I am on my way. Yeah, I'm flying out today. Oh, my heart begins to swoon, knowing that I'll see you soon. So we were divided, but within hours, reunited. Oh, I'm gonna hold you close to me, 'cause you helped me believe in the great unknown. Oh, you help me to know I'm not alone. And real soon, I'm coming home. Oh, so soon, I'm coming home.
That just happened. And I'm
That's
crying.
awesome.
You're not, and I am. That's good. Holy
I'm
cow.
pretty close, so
Wow.
thank you so much, because like even how you said, I mean, like that just happened or something to that effect. Like that's out there now. And I can't say enough. I know you get it all the time. Thank you so much for now. Like now I get to have that. And I have the power, luckily, to pull this audio and now make it a
that's
song.
yours,
You know what I
right?
mean? And it's awesome, and really appreciate it. And someone would maybe ask too, is like, how do you do that? But it is no doubt to me. I can see an absolute gift, and I appreciate I just thank you for being here, and also providing me that opportunity to have that and see the process too. So really, really appreciate it.
It's like surfing a wave for me, because I don't really know where it's gonna go. I know that wave started far away. Like it started, you have a family, you travel, so that wave started, and then I'm paddling into it, to see if we can create something that is meaningful immediately. And it's so wild to, as I progress in these practices, to take less and less of take myself out of it more and more, and just be a conduit. So it speaks to where you're going, where you are, And
that's you are that conduit. What you're a conduit of is positive energy.
Yeah.
And what you're a conduit of actually is courage, because what you're evoking in people requires courage. What you're doing is helping them walk through and into scary, right? Because singing in a crowd is scary if you're not a singer, and most of us aren't. So what you're facilitating, and that's what I do. I always say I facilitate positive change. I don't change shit, right? You can't make these people sing no different than I can make anyone open up in anything that I do. So what you do is provide this opportunity in a way that is spiritually aligned from a positive nature, that facilitates courage, right? And what I know to be true, every time I am exhibiting courage, and courage being an action, because the emotion is fucking terrified, right? There's people up until the point they break loose and sing their song now that you gave them, they get to feel what it then feels like to get to the other side of the terror and access this wow. The other thing I'd like to highlight is, and thanks for sharing your story and the details of it, right? And I hope everyone paid attention to, or put it this way, what stuck out to me. I don't hope you do whatever you want to, but what stuck out to me was all the points of when Ruth said, "Hey, I had hard times. I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't understand what my gift was. I wasn't classically trained. I didn't have what the biz says credential wise I should have." And also being open to those moments when opportunities are provided, and actually taking them. The process of getting to what he does, which is he parlayed his passion into a profession, and also a way of spreading positivity. And it was a scary, messy trail.
Definitely.
And his the way you talked about it, man, just so matter of fact. It's like, I was, alcohol, whether it was drugs, whether it was poor decisions, behavior, all these things. Yet the willingness that you had to listen when the wisdom came to you, and you actually did, you listened.
Yeah, it was like not too many miles ago that I thought I was a failure,
Right.
But it was more about redefining success.
Now you have people that run the biggest yoga festival in the nation, if not world, that ask you to come share your gift in a place that is all about positivity, all about personal expansion, right? Evolution, expansion, transformation.
Definitely. And once I did start, I had a couple of key people that kind of slapped me and were like, you have a responsibility, not for nothing, but like most people don't
if
have
you choose
this.
to take that on.
Yeah,
right.
And they were like, you're sitting up there with this like reservoir of water, and there's thirsty people down in the city, and you're like filling up Dixie cups with a little cup. Why don't you like free up the water? And once I have started to accept that and be like, oh yeah, this is actually what I am, and success doesn't mean what I thought it did. It wasn't my definition. It wasn't my story. Now that I am actually standing in it and saying, yeah, this is what I am. That's how you and I meet. That's how I've met with the power of yes and no. At this point now of saying no to things that don't. No matter how hungry I am, they're just not
aligned.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because it's only been over the last, like I said, it's like feels like just a couple miles ago where I was like, man, what have I done with my life? I've experienced so much, but where do I go from here? And I'm so grateful for those people that did see that in me and taught me how to be aware of seeing that in other people. To be able to shine a light on that, like even if it's just with a song, and like I see you.
It's not just with a song, like it's a song.
It's their song.
And so let me share a story with you that you may not realize. The night we met, within an hour, you played me one of your songs, and it was very profound effect on me. And I've got to experience that one more time since then. Let me tell you why. Is that and it's in alignment with what we do. That song is all about, to me, become unattached with expectation or outcome, and being in the moment and living free of worry, fear of the future, regret from the past, or any bullshit. Like it's like those lyrics are about show me how to let me go, let it go, all of it go, like no more anything, just right now.
Yeah.
Right. And because I know how powerful it is, and we've had an epic time hearing your story. If you're cool with it, I would like for you to, close us out with that song, and people knowing like it's nothing more than about being unattached to the outcome, let go of expectation. It's the root of all disappointment, and just figure out what your gifts are, and then just be in the moment with it. And that's like what I get from it. You down?
Of course. Let's do it on the ook.
While he's doing that, just keep tuning up. You can find Root at roothub.com. This is the Original Freedom Podcast. We had an epic time learning the story of an individual who had the courage to follow his truth, to get through the grit and the grime and bullshit of life, and actually listen to that little voice inside in his scariest moments. And he said yes, and now he's actually healing people for a living. Take it away, brother.
Oh, show me how to do it now. Oh, show me how to do it now. Oh, show me how to do it now. Oh, show me how. No more living, no more dying, no more laughing, no more crying, no more pushing, no more pulling, no more pleasure, no more pain. Oh, show me how to do it now. Show me how to let it go quickly, so easily. Oh, unattached to anything. No more vision, no more blindness, no more future, no more past, no correction, no deception, no more first, no more last. Oh, show me how to do it now. Show me how to let it go quickly, so easily. Oh, unattached to anything. No more peace, no more war, no more less, no more, no more one. No more two, no more me, no more you. Oh, show me how to do it now. Show me how to let it go quickly, so easily. Oh, unattached to anything. Oh, show me how to do it now. Show me how to do it now. Show me how to do it now. Oh, show me how to do it now. Show me how to let it go quickly, so easily. Everything, anything, everything. Anything, everything, anything, everything, anything, everything, anything.
We're out.
Thanks for having me here.